There's a river on this planet that has never been fully mapped, never been fully understood, and never been fully tamed. Not by explorers, not by scientists, not by the civilizations that have lived beside it for thousands of years. Today, we're going to talk about something most people never think about. The Amazon River is not just water. It is one of the last true unknowns left on Earth. We are taught to fear the dark. We are taught that danger hides in shadows, in caves, in places light cannot reach. But the Amazon breaks that rule completely. Here, danger does not need darkness to survive. It hides in plain sight, in broad daylight, beneath water so calm and so clear in places that it looks almost safe to touch. And that is exactly what makes it terrifying. Because in the Amazon, the things that can end your life are not always hiding. Sometimes, they are simply waiting in full view for you to make one mistake. For centuries, sailors and explorers who reached these waters returned with stories that sounded too strange to believe. Rivers that ran black as ink beside rivers of colored clay. Currents that pulled swimmers under without warning. Creatures that could sense a heartbeat through solid mud. And a silence so complete it felt like the river itself was listening. Many of those stories were dismissed as myth. But some of them were not myths at all. Some of them were simply truths that science had not yet caught up to. Beneath the surface of the Amazon lies a world where sunlight can vanish within meters, where visibility can collapse entirely, and where the riverbed itself can plunge deep enough to swallow a 30-story building whole. In that darkness, animals do not need eyes to hunt. They read vibration, pressure, and electricity the way we read light. And somewhere in that hidden world, predators exist that most of the outside world has still never truly witnessed in their natural behavior. But this is not only a story about danger. It is a story about a river so powerful it changes the chemistry of the ocean and empties into a forest so vast it manufactures its own weather, an ecosystem so ancient that some of what lives here may be found nowhere else on the planet. Species we have not yet discovered, secrets we have not yet uncovered, and truths still buried beneath water, mud, and centuries of silence. So today, we are not just going to look at the Amazon River. We are going to go beneath it. We are going to uncover what has terrified explorers for generations, separate the myths from the reality, and reveal why this river, bright, beautiful, and seemingly peaceful on the surface, remains one of the most mysterious and dangerous places on Earth. A world where fungi spread across fallen trunks, insects move beneath the leaves, and animals survive by hearing what they cannot see. From above, the Amazon looks peaceful. Satellites see an enormous green carpet stretching across South America. They see rivers shining like veins and clouds rising over the canopy. But satellites cannot see what waits under the leaves. They cannot see the eyes watching from the shadows. They cannot see the roots twisting beneath black water, or the ancient cities sleeping below the forest. The Amazon is so vast that, if it were a country, it would rank among the largest on Earth. Its rainforest covers millions of square kilometers, crossing several nations and containing an astonishing share of the planet's living species. More than hundreds of billions of trees rise from its soil, and many of them belong to species found nowhere else. Each tree is part of a gigantic biological machine, filtering carbon, releasing oxygen, storing water, and shaping the atmosphere around it. But the forest does something even more extraordinary. It creates its own weather. Every day, billions of tons of water move from the soil into the air through a process called transpiration. Trees pull water upward through their roots, release it through their leaves, and send invisible rivers into the sky. Those rivers of vapor travel across the continent, forming clouds and carrying rainfall far beyond the forest itself. The Amazon does not simply receive rain. It helps manufacture it. That is why the forest has often been called the lungs of the planet. Although the truth is more complicated. The Amazon consumes oxygen, as well as producing it. Its deeper importance lies in the way it stores carbon, moves water, cools the land, and stabilizes climate systems across entire continents. If the Amazon weakens, the effects will not remain inside its borders. But this biological engine comes with a price. To survive in such a crowded world, nature has armed its inhabitants with weapons that seem almost impossible. Some use venom. Others use electricity, heat, camouflage, or overwhelming strength. Some do not attack at all. They simply wait for one mistake. And flowing through the center of this green kingdom is a river so enormous that it behaves less like a river and more like an inland sea. The Amazon River carries an astonishing portion of the world's flowing freshwater at its mouth. It releases immense volumes into the Atlantic, powerful enough to alter the ocean's salinity far offshore. The river is not one uniform stream. It is a meeting place for different worlds. Near Manaus, the dark waters of the Rio Negro flow beside the muddy Solimois River. One is stained almost black by tannins released from decaying leaves. The other carries sediment from the Andes, giving it a pale, turbulent color. For kilometers, the two rivers run side by side without fully mixing, creating a visible boundary between them. It looks beautiful from above. Beneath the surface, it can become treacherous. The currents move at different speeds and temperatures. Water twists against water, creating hidden turbulence. A swimmer may see a calm surface while powerful forces pull below, and the riverbed itself can descend more than 100 meters in places, deep enough to bury a 30-story building beneath the water. At that depth, sunlight disappears. Visibility collapses. A human being becomes almost completely blind. But the animals living there do not need clear water. Some hunt by sensing vibrations. Others detect electrical signals produced by muscle movement. In darkness thick enough to hide an entire body, the river becomes a world of information carried through pressure, sound, and current. This is where the Amazon pink river dolphin appears. Indigenous communities have long called it the Encantado, the Enchanted One. In traditional stories, the dolphin can transform into a mysterious man who emerges from the river during celebrations, charms the villagers, and disappears before dawn. The legend reflects something real about the animal. It seems to belong to two worlds at once. Unlike ocean dolphins, pink river dolphins have unusually flexible necks. Their vertebrae are not fused in the same rigid way, allowing them to turn their heads through submerged roots and branches. They navigate forests that become flooded during the rainy season, moving between trees, trunks, and tangled vegetation where ordinary predators would struggle. Their echolocation is powerful enough to detect objects in water thick with mud. They can sense fish hidden in darkness and maneuver through spaces too narrow for larger animals. In a drowned forest, the pink dolphin is not merely swimming. It is navigating a maze that changes with every flood. Yet the river contains creatures far smaller and far more disturbing. The kangaroo, sometimes called a vampire fish, is a tiny parasitic catfish that seeks the water currents produced by the gills of larger fish. Once it finds a host, it uses sharp spines to anchor itself and feed on blood. Stories of kangaroo entering the human urinary tract have become part of Amazonian folklore, but many sensational versions of the tale are disputed or poorly documented. The creature is real. The most frightening legends surrounding it are not always supported by strong evidence. Still, the river does not need myths to be dangerous, because in the Amazon, the truth is often terrifying enough. And somewhere beneath the dark surface, another predator is waiting, one that does not need venom, teeth, or claws. It only needs patience. The river otter looks playful until it hunts. In the Amazon, giant otters can grow to nearly 2 meters in length. They live in family groups and coordinate their movements with remarkable precision. Their calls carry across the water, keeping the group connected as they search for fish, defend their territory, and drive away intruders. They are not invulnerable, but their cooperation makes them formidable. A lone predator may be dangerous. A coordinated family can become a moving wall of aggression. But the otter is the river's pack hunter. The anaconda is its ghost. You may be only a few steps from one and never realize it. Its patterned body can vanish beneath floating vegetation, muddy banks, and tangled roots. On land, the green anaconda appears heavy and slow. In water, it becomes almost invisible. It does not need venom. Its weapon is muscle. When an anaconda coils around prey, each breath becomes more difficult. The snake does not necessarily crush bones immediately. Instead, it tightens whenever the victim exhales, preventing the lungs from expanding and disrupting blood flow. The struggle ends when the prey can no longer resist. The largest claims about anaconda weight and pressure are often exaggerated, but the animal remains one of the most powerful constrictors on Earth. It can hold its breath for long periods, sense warmth near its face, and remain motionless for hours. The river may look empty, That is precisely what makes it dangerous. Because beneath the water, the Amazon is not silent. It is listening. And while the river hides its predators below, the forest canopy shelters an entirely different battlefield above. The first thing you notice in the upper Amazon is not the darkness. It is the height. The canopy rises like a second world, sometimes more than 30 meters above the ground. From below, it appears to be an unbroken ceiling of leaves. But it is not one layer. It is a vertical city made of branches, vines, flowers, nests, hollows, and hidden pathways. Every level contains its own rules. Near the ground, the forest is cool, wet, and dim. Higher up, the air becomes brighter, hotter, and more exposed. In the middle layers, monkeys leap between trees while snakes lie perfectly still. At the top, birds compete for fruit, sunlight, and nesting sites. A creature that falls from one layer into another may cross several ecosystems in seconds. This is where the smallest monkeys begin their daily struggle. The pygmy marmoset is one of the smallest monkeys in the world, small enough to fit into a human hand. Its size should make it vulnerable to almost everything, yet it has found a specialized way to survive. Using sharp incisors, it gnaws holes into tree bark and feeds on a resin that flows out. These wells become reliable food sources, but they also become valuable territory. A marmoset may spend much of its life defending access to a handful of trees. The forest gives nothing away for free. Sap provides energy, but the tiny monkey must remain alert for snakes, raptors, cats, and larger primates. Survival is not a single victory. It is the ability to repeat the same dangerous routine every day without being noticed. Then the forest begins to shake. A howler monkey has opened its mouth. Its roar can travel for several kilometers through the trees, announcing territory, warning rivals, and keeping family groups connected. The sound is amplified by a specially enlarged throat structure that acts like a natural resonance chamber. The howler monkey does not need to fight every rival physically. It can make the entire forest believe that a much larger army is nearby. But not all primates advertise their presence. The white-faced saki moves through the branches with a different strategy. Its appearance is striking, almost theatrical, with facial markings that resemble a mask. Yet its behavior can be quiet and elusive. It leaps between trees, feeds on fruits, seeds, and hard nuts, and occupies a niche many other species ignore. In the Amazon, being unusual can be an advantage. If everyone is competing for the same food, the animal willing to eat what others reject may survive with less conflict. The saki's world is not built around dominance. It is built around distance, timing, and escape. Then, from somewhere above, comes a flash of blue, red, and yellow. Macaws gather on exposed clay cliffs, sometimes arriving in large groups. Their colors make them impossible to miss. But the brightness is not carelessness. It is part of a social system based on lifelong pair bonds, communication, and cooperation. The clay they consume may help neutralize toxins found in certain fruits and seeds. The birds are beautiful, but beauty in the Amazon rarely means weakness. It often means the creature has developed another defense, intelligence. The toucan uses a different kind of engineering. Its enormous bill may appear too heavy for its body, but the interior is filled with a lightweight honeycomb structure. The bill helps the bird reach fruit on thin branches, regulate heat, and communicate with others. Yet the toucan has a darker reputation than its cheerful colors suggest. It can raid the nests of smaller birds, stealing eggs and chicks with frightening efficiency. In the canopy, every nest is a potential meal, and every beautiful bird may be a predator when the opportunity appears. But no bird commands more fear than the harpy eagle, with a wingspan approaching 2 meters and massive talons. It is built to hunt animals that other eagles would struggle to carry. It does not spend its life circling high above the forest. Instead, it waits within the foliage, using the canopy itself as cover. A monkey may hear nothing, see nothing, feel nothing. Then the harpy moves. It can dive through narrow gaps between branches, striking with explosive speed and precision. Its talons close before the prey understands what is happening. For the animals below, the danger does not always come from the ground. Sometimes death falls from the sky. And if the harpy rules the air, the jaguar rules the boundary between land and water. In the Amazon, the jaguar is more than a predator. It is a presence, Indigenous traditions have long treated it as a powerful spiritual being, an animal that belongs equally to the forest, the river, and the night. People rarely see one, but the jaguar often sees them first. Its spotted coat breaks apart against leaves and sunlight. Its body moves with quietness that seems impossible for an animal capable of such violence. The jaguar is one of the strongest big cats relative to its size, with jaws designed not only to suffocate prey, but to pierce bone and thick skulls. Unlike many cats, it does not avoid water. The jaguar swims confidently, stalks riverbanks, and may attack caimans, turtles, capybaras, and fish. In a flooded forest, water is not an obstacle. It is an additional route of attack. A caiman may lie perfectly still, believing itself hidden, but the jaguar can approach from the bank, from behind a root, or from the water itself. Its bite is powerful enough to penetrate the armored defenses of reptiles that other predators leave alone. The jaguar's greatest weapon, however, is not strength. It is patience. It may watch for hours without moving. A capybara feeds near the water. A monkey descends toward a fruiting tree. A turtle rests on a log. Nothing seems wrong until the stillness explodes. The attack is not a long chase. It is a single burst of power, timed with terrifying accuracy. Without the jaguar, herbivore populations could expand beyond what the forest can support. Vegetation would be stripped. Riverbanks would erode. The balance between species would begin to unravel. But the Amazon's weapons are not limited to animals. Some of the most sophisticated defenses in the forest are rooted in the soil. Wild cacao grows beneath the shade of larger trees, producing the seeds that humans eventually transformed into chocolate. Its sweet pulp attracts monkeys, rodents, and other animals, which consume the fruit and carry the seeds through the forest. The plant does not move. It does not chase. It recruits. Elsewhere, a flower uses a more disturbing strategy. The corpse flower releases a smell of rotting flesh, attracting flies and beetles that normally search for dead animals. The insects arrive expecting a meal. Instead, they become carriers of pollen. In the Amazon, even decay can be a disguise. And then there's a ghost orchid, a plant so strange that it appears almost unreal. It lacks the ordinary leaves associated with photosynthesis and depends heavily on relationships with fungi and host trees. For much of its life, it remains nearly invisible, emerging only briefly when it blooms. The forest does not reward the obvious. The brightest colors may warn of poison. The sweetest scent may hide a trap. The most beautiful flower may be pretending to be a corpse. That lesson becomes unmistakable when you meet the bullet ant. Its sting has been described as one of the most painful on Earth. The pain can continue for many hours, spreading to the body in waves of burning, pulsing agony. The ant is small, but its venom attacks the nervous system's pain pathways with extraordinary intensity. For the satyr maw people, bullet ants are part of a traditional rite of passage. Young men place their hands inside gloves filled with the insects and endure the stings as a test of courage and endurance. The ritual is not entertainment. It carries cultural meaning, responsibility, and identity. Nearby, leafcutter ants reveal a completely different form of power. They do not eat the leaves they carry. They use them to cultivate fungus inside underground colonies that can extend deep into the soil. Different ants perform different tasks: cutting, carrying, farming, defending, cleaning, and removing waste. It is an agricultural civilization built without language, machines, or written plans. If a harmful fungus enters a colony, specialized workers remove it. Antibiotic-producing bacteria on their bodies help protect the farm. Millions of individuals act as one system. Then comes the golden poison frog. Its skin can contain toxins powerful enough to kill large animals, although toxicity varies depending on diet and environment. Indigenous hunters have traditionally used the poison of certain frogs on blow darts, turning a tiny amphibian into a weapon. The frog does not look dangerous. That is the point. A warning may come through color. A flash of yellow can mean death. A brilliant blue can mean do not touch. And beside these living jewels is the glass frog, whose translucent underside allows parts of its internal body to be seen. When it rests on a leaf, its outline can dissolve into background, confusing predators below. In the Amazon, survival may depend on being terrifying or on becoming almost impossible to see. But the forest has one final secret. It is not as untouched as it appears. For centuries, explorers believed the Amazon was too harsh to support large civilizations. Then new technology changed what humans could see. LiDAR sends laser pulses through gaps in the canopy and measures the time they take to return. The result is a three-dimensional map of the ground hidden beneath the trees. Suddenly, the forest floor revealed roads, canals, terraces, reservoirs, plazas, and geometric earthworks. The Amazon had not been empty. It had been concealed. In parts of the region, archaeologists have found evidence of large, organized societies that managed water, cultivated plants, and transformed the soil. Some landscapes once thought to be untouched wilderness were shaped by people over thousands of years. The forest did not simply replace civilization. It absorbed it. Beneath the leaves lies dark, fertile soil sometimes called terra preta or Amazonian dark earth. Ancient communities created it by combining charcoal, organic waste, bones, and other materials. Unlike many tropical soils, which lose nutrients quickly, terra preta can remain fertile for centuries. This is one of the clearest reminders that the Amazon is not only a natural system, it is also an archaeological record. But the people who live there today face a danger that no ancient technology can fully prevent. Across the Amazon, indigenous communities continue to protect their lands and knowledge. Some groups live in voluntary isolation, maintaining distance from a modern world because contact can be fatal. A common cold may be harmless to an outsider, but devastating to a population with no immunity. A single unauthorized encounter can spread disease through an entire community. Their isolation is not ignorance, it is survival. These peoples possess detailed knowledge of plants, animals, rivers, seasons, medicine, and weather. Knowledge developed through generations of observation. They know which roots heal, which fruits poison, and where predators move when the river rises. The forest is their library, but outsiders have often treated it as a resource to be opened, photographed, mined, logged, and sold. That attitude is one of the greatest threats the Amazon has ever faced. And deep within the forest, another city tells a story of what happens when wealth arrives suddenly. Manaus grew rich during the rubber boom of the late 19th century. Global industry demanded rubber, and the Amazon became the source of enormous fortunes. Manaus grew rich during the rubber boom of the late 19th century. Global industry demanded rubber, and the Amazon became the source of enormous fortunes. The city was transformed into a tropical capital of luxury. Its most famous symbol was the Amazon Theater. Marble, metal, tiles, chandeliers, and architectural materials were transported from Europe across the Atlantic and then hauled hundreds of kilometers upriver. Opera performances were held in the middle of a rainforest, surrounded by a city whose wealth depended on trees most of the world had never seen. The extravagance did not last. Rubber seeds were smuggled out of Brazil and cultivated in Asian plantations, where production became cheaper and more efficient. The boom collapsed, fortunes vanished, and Manaus entered a long period of decline. Today, the city remains a gateway into the Amazon, a place where modern industry, indigenous history, tourism, science, and environmental crisis collide. But the region's wonders extend far beyond the main river. During the dry season, parts of the Pajos River reveal white quartz sandbanks and clear blue water. Some islands appear only for a few months before disappearing beneath the rising flood. The landscape seems temporary, as if the river is allowing visitors to see a hidden world before taking it back. Farther west, the Anavilhanas archipelago forms a maze of hundreds of islands and countless channels. The black water reflects the skies so perfectly that orientation becomes difficult. Every island may look like the last one. Every bend may lead deeper into the labyrinth. In such a place, the greatest danger may not be an animal. It may be losing your sense of direction. A river can become a mirror. A forest can become a wall. And when the sun disappears behind clouds, the distinction between water, sky, and land can vanish completely. Beyond the lowland forest rise the ancient table mountains known as tepuis. These immense rock formations are remnants of a plateau that has been eroding for billions of years. Their cliffs isolate the summits from the world below, turning each mountain into a separate evolutionary laboratory. On top of these flat, mist-covered landscapes, species have evolved in isolation. Some plants and animals exist nowhere else. The summit of Mount Roraima, shared by Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil, appears less like an ordinary mountain than a fragment of another planet. Waterfalls spill from its edges. Clouds move across the rock. Weather can change within minutes, turning clear valleys into cold, confusing corridors of fog. And nearby, in Venezuela's Canaima National Park, Angel Falls drops nearly a kilometer from the summit of Ollantaytambo. It is the world's highest uninterrupted waterfall, but the water often dissolves into mist before reaching the ground. To indigenous peoples, the tepuis are sacred places, associated with spirits and powerful beings. Their isolation may have protected them from human disturbance, but it also makes them fragile. A single invasive species, mining operation, or careless expedition could damage an ecosystem that took millions of years to develop. The Amazon contains beauty so extreme that it almost feels unreal. But beauty does not mean safety. The most dangerous predator in the forest is not the jaguar, the anaconda, or the harpy eagle. It is us. Every year, vast areas of forest are cleared for cattle, mining, roads, crops, and development. Each tree removed does more than erase a piece of habitat. It breaks relationships between soil, rain, rivers, animals, and atmosphere. Scientists warn that continued destruction could push parts of the Amazon toward a tipping point. If enough forest disappears, rainfall may decline, trees may die more quickly, fires may become more common. A rainforest could begin transforming into a drier, fragmented landscape. The forest's greatest defense may also become its greatest weakness. When humans enter places that have been isolated for thousands or millions of years, they can disturb organisms, release pathogens, and destabilize systems whose complexity we barely understand. The Amazon does not need to attack humanity directly. Its collapse would be enough. The forest has survived geological upheavals, climate shifts, floods, droughts, and the rise and fall of civilizations. But it has never faced a species capable of changing the entire landscape at such speed. The Amazon is not dangerous because it hates humans. It is dangerous because it was never designed for us. It follows its own laws. Water rises and falls. Trees compete for light. Predators wait. Plants deceive. Rivers erase paths. Mountains preserve ancient worlds. Life grows, dies, and returns in cycles too vast for a human lifetime. We are visitors in that kingdom. The question is not whether the Amazon can survive without us. It has existed for tens of millions of years, long before modern humanity appeared. The question is whether we can survive what happens when we destroy the systems that sustain us. Because the Amazon does not simply contain life. It regulates it. It moves water through the atmosphere, stores carbon in trees and soil, cools the land, shelters species found nowhere else, and preserves the memory of civilizations hidden beneath the canopy. Every river bend holds a secret. Every shadow may conceal a predator. Every flower may be carrying out a chemical deception. Every ancient mound may be evidence that the forest remembers more than we do. And somewhere beneath the endless green, the Amazon continues to breathe. The real danger is that one day, it may stop. Then humanity will finally understand that the forest was never waiting to be conquered. It was waiting to be respected.